Oh my gosh, I wanted to share with you that yesterday while I was out on a walk, I saw the most amazing thing. For many, many years now, I have been a follower, a lover of crows. And I had in the last couple of years commissioned a really large painting of crows for our front lobby. And in that I had done some research on trying to understand the difference between a crow and a raven. And there are some very distinct differences. So yesterday when we were coming back from our walk, all of a sudden I could hear the kind of cawing of crows. And I'm very, very much attuned to that. They're by far one of my most favorite animal guides and share a lot of wisdom with me. So whenever I hear them, I'm always looking. It's always an opportunity for a prayer for me. When you hear lots of crows cawing, then it's a pretty good sign that they are up to their mischief and they're kind of pestering something. So I looked up, and just right kind of in front of the house and in the sky over the street, there were a whole bunch of little birds and there was a big bird, and they were chasing each other. And then I could hear the sound of a different bird call, and it was more the croaky, kind of guttural sound that I had in my studies had realized was a raven. And at this moment I could sense that the crows were chasing a raven, and I could kind of tap into all the information that I had gotten when I had done my research to determine if this was true. So there was a group of crows. They usually travel in a murder, it's called, of crows, and there was one larger bird. The crows were significantly smaller. You could hear the difference in the cries. The cries of the crows were that caw, caw, and you know what? I have it here for you. I'm gonna play it. This is what the crows sound like. Oh, I have to turn up the volume. I could hear lots of that. This is the distinct sound of a raven, which is quite different. It kind of has a croaking sound. I could hear both of these sounds. Another difference, other than the sizes, and ravens tend to travel alone or in pairs, and crows tend to travel in groups or gangs, is the tail feathers. So a crow, all their tail feathers are kind of the same length. So it looks kind of flat across the bottom, or when they're in flight, it's more of just a fan shape. But a crow has a raven has smaller feathers on the edges. So it looks kind of more like a shovel, the tails. So kind of while they were circling over and kind of making all this ruckus, I could kind of distinguish all of the different facets of them. And I could see the difference in the kind of swooping tail flight of the raven versus the crows, which is more kind of uniform along the bottom. So this was a really big moment for me, and especially, you know, over the last couple of years as we've been not able to travel and we're kind of coming out of a long winter. It's a really beautiful sign for me that we can still have wonderful experiences when we kind of go into nature. The reason why crows are so very special to me and have come out of a lot of study of my Vedic studies, or really I learned about them in India. The crow is the vehicle or the special animal guide for the planet Saturn. So this is Lord Shani, or the slow moving one. The planet Saturn brings us so many really powerful and profound teachings through its kind of wisdom of slowing things down, patience, perseverance, persistence, all of these really useful qualities that are cultivated through certain obstacles or the slowing down of things in our life. And it brings to us, Lord Saturn brings to us powerful teachings through our own experience in the world. So whenever I see, or when I hear the crows, often the windows are open and I can hear the crows, it's always for me a moment where I kind of reconnect back with that real kind of ancestral or grandfather wisdom that I have learned about through Vedic astrology with Saturn and the crows. The crows are also a symbol in our Vedic lineage, in the teachings of the Mrityunjaya, which is that which takes us beyond. And it's often literally translated as that which takes us beyond death, but it's that which takes us beyond any form of suffering in our life. This is a powerful theme and a kind of deep-seated heart goal for me, is that journey of going beyond attachments and stories and ideals and beliefs, and the Mrityunjaya as the Lord of that which takes us beyond time is represented by this animal guide in the crow. Now, also probably the raven can be exchanged in here as the bird, but there's something about the kind of humble scallywag, mischievous energies, the carrion cleaning, kind of rambunctious nature of the crows that I actually really kind of admire. And you can always hear whenever we're walking in nature, and you can hear that caw, 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 caw of a lot of crows, they're up to some kind of mischief. And I think they're usually, a pack of them are chasing some sort of a larger bird. I've seen them flush out owls and hawks and now this raven. And I think that it gives those other birds their life experience and helps them to grow and be stronger as well. So, this power of the crow and its kind of caw in the world, and certainly something I've been studying for a really long time, the magic of my my sincerity and my delight in seeing something like this after I've been kind of studying it, and then nature really giving me a very clear and profound example of it, speaks to me of that patience and perseverance and practice, which those represent in my life. So whenever you hear or see a crow or a raven, you can try and determine the difference. It's a nice kind of nature meditation to kind of take you back into the moment. And it's also an opportunity, the birds in their subtle passages up in the ethers can really be messengers for us. So whenever I hear the cawing of a crow, I always pause at that moment and it's a sign for me. I pause, I stop, I think, what was I just thinking now? There's some sort of message that's being kind of relayed to me from that ancestor energy. And I love how the crow carries over as an animal guide from not only the depth of our and the love for our Vedic teachings, the teachings from India, but ultimately at this point and in this life, we were born as Canadians. The family story is my paternal grandmother was part Mi'kmaq, Native Canadian out in the East. And so I wanted to just share with you finally one of my most prized possessions on my kind of altars. And I've been, let's see here, I've been all over the world and collected lots of really beautiful sacred items. But this is probably a raven because you can see the different lengths of tail feathers. Is one of my favorite because it ties in all the beauty of this animal bird, this animal guide, but at the same time really with this kind of indigenous Canadian feel. And I just love the magic of this red bead that it's holding. Look at that. And to me, this is just the promise of the fruit that that patience and that perseverance and that persistence, that Lord Shani, the Mrityunjaya, those that take us beyond our suffering to freedom, to liberation, represents. So I thought I'd share, and I definitely wish and pray for the blessings of all of those things in your life.